The hyena cubs have been coming in and out of the den. Will they show their adorable faces once more? This is Safari Live.
Ready. Standing by.
You are live. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to, of course, slightly delayed Sunset Safari, but we're here nevertheless. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me today is Craig. Now, I must apologize, of course, we have been having a couple of technical difficulties, but we seem to be back online. Let's keep our fingers crossed and make sure that that's the last of the gremlins this afternoon. Right, now this is live, this is interactive, this is happening right now in sunny South Africa in the Sabi Sandwiltuin, which is a private wilderness area that opens right up onto the greater Kruger National Park. So, if you'd like to have a chat with us, ask us any questions, maybe send through your wishes to the other team, well, not the other team, we're all one team, but of course our team in Kenya is so excited. They're preparing, they're getting ready to make magic happen a little bit later today. So remember, we're starting the migration season. We've got Earth Live happening all in the wee hours of tomorrow morning. So send through your wishes, and of course, well, the rest of our gang in Kenya will see them too. But how great is this? So hashtag Safari Live. Now, we've been waiting at the den. Like I said just a moment ago, the little ones have been popping in and out of their little den. But they're hiding away from now. I think they're hiding away from the sun because it's actually quite warm in there. Or they could have just ducked around the other side and hiding underneath the shade. That could be a possibility too. But I don't think we'll bother them for too much longer. What we might do is go take a drive around, go and check a couple of dams out, and then maybe we'll come back here in an hour or so, and hopefully once it's cooled down just a little bit, maybe they'll come back. I think there could be an adult sleeping right at the back down there, but tucked away in the thicket. So we'll come back a little bit later, and hopefully we'll have some more luck. But I'm going to send you across now to Ellie, because I'm not the only one driving around, and I know her and Sebastian would love to say hello.
We would like to say hello, but before we do that, we would like you to say hello to our friend the elephant. Somebody's been enjoying some mud, as we can see from its skin that it's in different patches of darker shapes. So this is a young bull, and we wonder where the rest of its herd is. Perhaps it's sitting behind the bushes, heading into the drainage line or the famous Molowati, probably to go and dig for some water. But it was such an unexpected surprise to see an elephant, at least for me in the last few days, as I haven't been too lucky with the Ellie, so just enjoying spending our time here with Africa's biggest land mammal. Now, I don't understand how he's still brave enough to just be feeding out in the sunshine, out and about, because it's very, very hot this afternoon. The temperature is 28 and I think 83. Very hot. 82. Alright, I almost got it right for once. Now you see he's using his very agile trunk to catch all the grass there, but he's just after what seems to be the inflorescence or the flower of the grass that he's feeding on. To burn, you're saying, Ellie, excellent job. Well, we were very happy to see it too. I'm just hoping that as we carry on driving, then we'll be able to bump into some more. Okay, I see you got tired of the sunshine. And that is the elephant disappearing into the Tamboti thickets. That is quite amazing. It does seem like there's nothing else. My name is Ali, and on camera with me today is Sam. We are very happy to have you guys on board. So if you've got any questions or any comments, send them through using the hashtag Safari Live. Now again, we apologize for all the inconveniences we've had with the internet. Seems like the gremlins are at us, but don't you worry. Seems like we have managed to fight them off. So we shall carry on our way and see if maybe we can find some more elephants. We are roughly headed in the direction of Bofosuk Dam, because apparently the very naughty lions spent the whole morning somewhere else and then they came back. So we're gonna go see if perhaps we get lucky somewhere there. See if maybe we can relocate them and spend some time with the Nkuhumas, which would be wonderful as we haven't seen them for quite a while. Alright, I think there might be some more elephants down in the drainage line indeed. There's a big female there walking. I think though I've just parked you in a very odd place with a tree in the middle. Sorry, that's my bad. Alright, no, sorry. Yeah, no, it's gone just behind the thickets. The problem is that from where we are, we won't be able to see them. So I'm gonna leave these elephants in the hope that they are making their way to Buffelshoek Dam, and maybe we will bump into them once more all the way up there. Which would be great, as I still haven't seen elephant in Buffelshoek Dam, and apparently it's one of the best sights to have around here. I have seen them at all the other dams, just not Buffelshoek Dam yet. But there's always going to be something out there that you haven't seen, so that you can carry on ticking things off. So we are still a while away, but we're going to make our way slowly there. Like we said, it's nice and hot today, so I'm sure many things will be out and about, or at least we hope so. And, well, maybe not the cats, but as it starts cooling down, then we hope that they're all going to come out and start moving around and just perhaps find out what it is that's been happening. Seems like Taylor has left the Hyena Den, so let's go to her and find out what her plans are.
Yes, we have. I thought we'd just give them a little break. They must be quite tired with their tummies being full. And of course, the hot sun out here is enough to make anything sleepy. And we'll go back in just a little bit. So what we're doing now is I thought that we'd just go along Buffelshoek cut line and just check Sydney's dam to see if anything's happening around there. Perhaps some buffalo coming down for a drink, maybe a herd of elephants. Who knows what could be waiting around for us. But at some point we will go down towards Chitwa Dam. You can't quite end your weekend off without having a look at some hippos, some crocodiles and all sorts of other things that live around there. And then I'm not sure what else we're going to see. Maybe we'll just bump some animals along the way. A leopard or two. We'll check Shadow's favourite road. We'll also check the Mulwati, because we think Hosana is somewhere on the property still. We think we had his tracks earlier this morning. And we tried to search for them, but nothing really came out of it. But anyways, maybe this afternoon is going to be better luck, and hopefully Ellie will get those lions as well. But we're just about to come up to Sydney's Dam. We're not far. We just need to get past these next set of bushes, and then we'll scan down in that direction. What bird do we have sitting up on this tree? Are you Lilac breasted roller? Don't fly. It's this one just on top of the buffalo thorn. At the moment we're actually just looking at the silhouette of it. And yes, that straight away from that very big head and of course its little tail streamers, you can tell that that is one of the rollers. And at this time of the year we're typically really seeing more of the lilac breasted roller. The purple roller should start coming around. We're waiting for the European roller to make its return, but they've only just left us. They have still got a long journey to come all the way back to Africa. But let's carry on. Let's go and see. It's nice to start. Beautiful bird to start the day off. Unfortunately, from that angle we weren't really able to see its beautiful colors that it has, where it gets its name from, lilac breasted roller, but it's just flown off. Okay, now we're looking for a gap. So, seeing as though we were trying to start the show off with hyenas, I know I'd mentioned to you yesterday that there was a hyena that has died. We're not sure how it's died, next to Mkuhuma Dam, which is in Buffelshoek. I did ask Rexon if he could try and get a photo of it. He has gone on leave. I think he did get one, so I'll try and get him to send it to me so we can try and figure out who it is. But very sad. You can definitely smell the decay as you drive past Mkuhuma Dam now. But it won't go to waste. Many different animals will eat it, including its own kind, including the other hyenas and vultures. A very hungry leopard could be tempted too, a lion, any animals really. Now there is a car coming, so what I want to do is I actually just want to pull off of the road slightly before I'm going to do this. I'm just going to go here and then we'll look at the dam in a moment. There's a civilian vehicle driving past us, and we also want to let their dust settle, otherwise we're going to drive straight into the dust, and that's not going to be too good. Hello, thank you. They had a dog. I wanted to pat their dog. It looked like a Jack Russell. Oh, my favourite kinds of dogs too. I should have patted it. Hey Craig, do you think it would have been weird if I got out and asked them if I could pat their dog? I don't. I do that all the time to people. I'm one of those strangers. Right. Just from looking at the dam, it actually doesn't look like there's much there, except there's a herd of impala that look like they could be making their way down. Some of them are hiding in the shade. You can see just some ears sticking up above the grass, using that quarry tree to shield themselves from the sun. It is hot. Even the oxpeckers are just taking a break at the moment, also enjoying the shade. It's one of the hotter days we've had. Alice, I'm so sorry, I've completely forgotten. What is the temperature today? Alice is directing the show, in case you're wondering who I'm talking to. 82 and 28. Those aren't temperatures to play around with. Impala, I reckon you all need to stand in the shade for a little bit. You can't be out in the sun like that, but they will go down and have a drink of water, and that should cool them down slightly. And then, of course, just by staying in the shade, we'll keep them nice and cool. Now I'm going to reverse, and we're going to go down a road just behind us. We're going to go down this handy patch. So you know what I thought we would do today is I would like to hear from you. I'll tell you now when I face you. Just once I get onto the road that I need to get to. Yes, here we go. I would like to know what are your favorite catchphrases that the various presenters on Safari Live use. I think that could be quite interesting. You can hashtag Safari Live. And yes, I think that would be quite nice. Any hand signals that we tend to do quite often, because I know we all like to talk with our hands. What do you think about that, Alice? Be a fun challenge. We should try. Actually, I want the girls in final control to try and guess what mine's probably going to be. Right, so Alice is going to tell Ellie as well. So for all of us, so from Brent to Scott to Jamie to Steph to James to myself, Ellie, Tristan, Byron, all of us, we just think an interesting topic to chat about right through the entire game drive, because we all do it. Every single person has a specific catchphrase that they like to use, or a word that they use way too often. Let's try and make it entertaining. Let's try and make let's see how you can make me laugh. Oh my goodness, look at all the red-billed buffalo weavers. Look at this. Every single one of these little blackbirds that are flying around, there's some just right here, are buffalo weavers. There must have been about 30 or 40 of them. They were just sitting down on the ground. They were obviously foraging for something to eat. And also we've seen how sort of hard-working the red-billed buffalo weaver species can be. They don't ever stop when it comes to constantly reconstructing their nests and strengthening them. So they may have been out also looking for suitable sticks to take back to mend any holes if they have any. It is winter, of course. You've got to try and keep the cold air out somehow, and by packing your nest full of sticks, which is what their nest is made out of, is a pretty good way. What do you have? I thought you had a little snack. Obviously not a little snack. Now they're just flying off and out of view, but you can hear them. They're calling just up in the tree. Actually, there's some in front of us on the road. Look at them down there. There's two. What are you pecking at? What's that? Rock. You don't eat rocks. It always fascinates me what goes on in an animal's head. It's like when we see birds walking up to a stone and pecking it, or an elephant walking up to something else and pushing it over. I always want to know what's going through their minds. It's run over. I think it looked like it spotted something. It's after all the rocks today. What are you planning on doing with those? Obviously, they're not a particularly big bird. You know, you do get some bird. Oh, it just dropped a present. That's what it did. You do get some birds that will utilize tools to try and open up, you know, various types of food. I've forgotten what the bird was in Australia that uses a rock to crack emu eggs. Guy? Is it guy or die? Guy. Oh, Di, no, I was right. Okay, sorry about that. So, Di, you've said that for one for me, in terms of catchphrases, you said, "Can you believe it?" Yeah, I feel like I say that quite often. It's definitely one of them. Thank you, Di. And I have to tell you, Megan always says I do one. Must I do it for them, Craig? Did I show you? Megan knows exactly what I'm going to do now, and I bet she's giggling. But she says I do the guns when I talk for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I should have been born a couple of years ago and living in the Western days. Although then, if I did that, I probably would have got myself into some unnecessary battles. People would have thought that I was drawing real guns, but luckily I don't have any. Just these bad boys. Right, let's keep driving. Let's see what else we can find. There's a good start with the birds so far. Maybe we're going to have some luck today. It's always nice to fill the gaps with some pretty birds. We might have to go and have a look around and see if we can find that mysterious bokmakiri or gorgeous bushshrike. I'm not sure which one I saw yesterday. It was definitely one of the two. I'm still nearing on the side of bokmakiri though. We'll go have a look around there because that's the area where we'll need to search for Hosana anyway. So we'll do that. But nothing happening around at Sydney's Dam. Perhaps we'll have to also check Twin Dams, Treehouse Dam, all these different spots at some point. Now I didn't drive down here this morning, and I don't actually think anybody came investigating around here. So if we do see any tracks, that might be a good helping hand for us today. Maybe this leopard has come back this side, or maybe someone else is on the property. This is the area that Mvula likes too. So there's endless possibilities as to what we could see on this sunset safari. Hopefully we have a couple of cats. I know Ellie is working hard at trying to find them. And if anybody can find them, I think it's going to be Ellie. Her and Tristan are serious cat whisperers. It's amazing. They always have the greatest luck when it comes to them. And seen as though Ellie is, I think she's in the area now where those lions were supposedly last seen late this morning. So let's go across to her and see if she's found those lions.
No, unfortunately we haven't found them yet. We are approaching the area where they were last seen. So fear not, we are making our way there. But nothing yet. There was a mystery bird flying around and it looked like one of the small birds of prey, but we couldn't have a good look at it because it carried on flying. So it was a bit of a mystery bird. I didn't see it again. And I'm getting attacked by the tree here. Alright, well, okay, maybe not here. We shall carry on driving straight into the sunshine, see if maybe we can find those lions again. Apparently they were quite flat and sleepy, and interesting though is there seems to be the two males seem to be joining a female, or seem to be trailing the one female. So I wonder if perhaps one of them, and we'll hopefully be able to find out which one of them is missing. Maybe one of them is gone back into heat, and that's why the lions are so interested. Alright, let's just see here. I am looking for a brown ivory. Alright. I just want to find out. Alright, there's the drainage there, so I'm sure we'll be able to pick up the tracks where the guys left them this morning and have a bit of a look. Hopefully the lions will be here. Apparently they were trailing some nyala earlier on this morning, so maybe that's why they've been moving so much. They've been busy hunting, although I haven't been able to have a look at them yet. We'll be able to determine a bit more, hopefully, once we find them, because I would really like them to be just somewhere where we can see them, because a lion has been a rare sight of late, which has been good because, well, it seems like the leopards have been coming out to play a little bit more often than the lions, probably very much aware of the fact that their biggest competition, or one of their biggest competitors in this area, has not been around. Brown ivory. I can't even remember seeing a brown ivory on this road, but let's carry on and I'm sure we'll be able to find something. Alright. No tracks around here. This road is normally also very good for nyala, so if the lions are definitely looking for food, there will be some sort of food source here. Although the buffalo, we found 3 buffalo earlier on a treehouse dam, so I think they are just they heard the lions roaring this morning and then just went completely far away from them. So we had a feeling that maybe yesterday those lions encountered those buffalo or started trailing those buffalo, just because we had some fresh buffalo dung and then some lion tracks in the same direction as the buffalo. So everything seems to indicate that they are indeed looking for food. I would feel sorry if they do get one of the nyala, just because they are such pretty creatures. I don't know if I'm looking at another funny looking log. It seems like that's a log. Alright, seemed like a buffalo. I got a bit excited there. There is a 2-track here. Alright, I would imagine this is where the guys left them, so I'm gonna check. Perhaps it is, perhaps it isn't, but the directions they have been giving us are somewhat strange. Okay, come on. No. Some bundu bashing of note. I don't understand though. I don't think they would be here. It seems like a bit of an odd place for the lions to be, so perhaps the guys were looking at something else around here. Although it's very close to where they mentioned that the lions would be, and it heads roughly in the direction where the lions were. So I think maybe we're just gonna have to head back onto the road and just head more towards the dam. I think that will be a bit better. Alright, we're gonna try to go onward and forwards, as Tristan would like to say. And while we do that, let's go to Taylor, who has left the Mongoose family.
Speaking of Tristan, I'll get back to the Mongoose family now, is he should be coming back. He'll be back tomorrow afternoon. How exciting. Yeah, I tried to put 2 words together and that didn't work. Let me try that again. How exciting is that? I'm sure you're all looking forward to Tristan's return. Right, what are we going to do? Oh, we tried to see some dwarf mongoose, but they didn't want to be seen by us, unfortunately, so we left them. But we will find some hopefully a little bit later. There's some birds in the road. No! Don't fly. There's one crested francolin standing in the shade. Everything is in the shade today. It's not going into the grass. Sneaky. Oh, I wish I could jump through a buffalo thorn as easy as that little crested francolin did. Christopher, you said that I always say sneaky sausage. I suppose I do, hey? I do say that a lot. Everything's a sneaky sausage. Even the sneaky sausages are sneaky, which are the baby warthogs, piglets. But they're not little piglets anymore. Oh, it's ridiculous. I need to find some new words. You know what I'm going to do tonight is that I'm going to try and find other things that I can use, and I'm going to come up with an entirely new vocabulary. How's that sound? And then just when you think I'm going to resort to an old catchphrase, I'll trick you and I'll come up with something else. So no luck on I'm trying to figure out where we are. No, we're still coming up to Impala Plain. Sorry, I had a moment there where I thought I'd missed my turn off, which was a bit of a problem. We had some male leopard tracks as well, but actually I might be able to show you. No, these ones are lion tracks now. These are male lion tracks. But we did have male leopard tracks up further going in the opposite direction. But I think that looked like from quite late last night, and that could be anybody. Let me jump out very quickly. So, which Birmingham boy was walking here? Where's a nice track? This is a nice one. Just over here. It's a very large print. If I put my hand next to it, it's basically exactly the same. It's not basic, it is the same size. Pretty amazing. And going that way. Now, there's 4 Birmingham boys. 2 are in Buffelshoek. I don't know where the other 2 are. Normally Nsuku hangs around with the sticks, and we know the sticks have been hanging about on Annette's, Hoffman's, sometimes on Chitwa. Just leaves Nana. Maybe this is Nana that was walking around actually doing a territorial patrol, while the other 2 boys, who'd I'd assume to be Mfumo and Tinyo. I can't actually believe that I remember their names because it has been such a long time since I've actually seen the Birmingham boys. I can't wait until I have another sighting of them because they really are growing so much at this point. Not necessarily in size, but their mane is getting so much fuller and darker. They really are turning into beautiful lions. So it would be really nice to see them. I'm sure you'd all be very excited. Maybe tonight will be the night that we get to see some Birminghams. Okay, so now we're going to make our way towards the new road that Shadow seems to be quite fond of, and this is also a very good spot. Woo! Sorry Craig, I didn't see that bump, I forgot it was there. I just saw Craig's shadow and I actually saw a gap between the seat and Craig, so but he's still holding on tight there. Hey Craig, we'll have to get you a strip of Velcro so you can sit on that. We'll put another strip of the other side of Velcro so you can stick your bottom to the chair. No pipits today. Let's see what else is about here. Chugras, buntings, common scimitables. These are all very good areas to find those particular bird species. African hoopoes. Maybe some zebra. There's lots of zebra tracks going around at the moment, but I think when those lions roar like they do most evenings, I think that sends shivers down the zebra's spine, because that's one thing I've definitely noticed. But they haven't really had the greatest experience with the lions. Just quickly scanning. And I've seen as though we're talking about lions and, well, a particular prey species of theirs. Joe, you're wondering how often does a lion need to feed? Well, it depends. I think if a lion could catch something like, let's talk about the Nkuhuma Pride. 5 adult lionesses, 6 cubs, and let's go with 1 male lion, because there's normally at least 1 male with them. So let's go with that. So we've got 12 lions. If they could catch something like a kudu every second day, they would be the happiest lions in the entire world. But unfortunately, this is not the reality. Lions and leopards and the rest of the predators out there, barring with the exception of wild dog, they're very good hunters. Even hyenas are particularly good hunters, but they use a whole different technique of hunting, and they're not very good at it, and they often end up missing, and it might take them 2 or 3 attempts, sometimes even more, before they actually catch a meal. So a lion can go for a week, sometimes even longer than that, without food. But every day that they don't eat, they start tapping into valuable fats sort of resources, and they don't want to have to do that, which is a tough one. So that's why they will scavenge as well. If they can steal something from another predator, they'll do that. Or if they just come across an animal that's maybe died of natural causes, or maybe it could have drowned, it could have died of an illness, it could have had a broken leg and died of an infection, anything like that, they'll eat it, no problem. So it really just, it depends. And at the moment I think it's tough for the Nkuhumas, because the buffalo haven't quite returned on Djuma, and this is why we're not seeing the lions every single day either, because they're moving so far every single night to try and find something to eat. The zebra hear them and go in the complete opposite direction. The wildebeest seem to have moved off of the property too. I don't quite know where they are. So the game sort of species, so the variety of different antelopes and things, seems to be few and far between at the moment, but it will get better. And once the buffalo make their official return, which I'm almost giving up on when that's going to be. Maybe it's only going to be end of August at this rate if we carry on like this. The grass is still very, very tall. Then they don't need to travel far every single day, because they'll just follow the buffalo herds around. That's literally what the lions will do. And that's why they also spent so much time in the Manileti, because that's where the big herds were. They were just slightly north of where we can drive, just north of the Sabi sand. Now these are all areas that Shadow likes. I haven't seen any leopard tracks yet. And we always say this is a very good road to track on too, because the dust is very fine. So when something puts its foot on the ground, it easily leaves a mark. But the grass is also so long. So even if she was maybe walking on an animal pathway and she's tucked herself just off of the road and in this heat, and I could only imagine that she might be resting up. Although maybe not, because she's a mother of quite a young cub, so she will try and do a bit of hunting during the day too. You never know. You never know what we might see, and that's supposed to be the greatest thing about safaris, is that if you think you're surprised, I can tell you right now, the guides are even more surprised when you find something randomly and you just bump into them. No, nothing in the trees. There's some nice trees around here. Good marulas, nice balanites trees, casting lots of shadows. Plenty of warthogs and steenbok and duiker, even though I say they are. And I haven't showed you one steenbok or duiker on this road yet. It's just because every time I see one, they keep running away. They like to make me look silly. Alright, who are you? We've got a crested barbet, and I think I saw a scimitar as well fly in to this marula tree that has lost its leaves. There's the crested barbet, just sitting up there, Craig. Ah, no, it's just flown, and I don't think you'll get it. James, you were actually requesting to see, or you'd hope, there it is, you can just see it through that gap. You were hoping to see an acacia pied barbet. Wow, James, I haven't actually ever seen an acacia pied barbet up here. Should we get the book out? Let's have a look at what an acacia pied barbet looks like. Now I have to find the right book. I've got an entire selection of books down below. Barbets. They're beautiful. I was telling you, I saw one while I was on leave, and I hadn't seen one for such a long time. No, it's not going to work. We'll just have to go, yeah. Barbet. 274 is the page we need to go to. We're almost there. I'm getting better at this now. Right at the top. Beautiful birds. A little bit of red, a little bit of yellow, white, black, typical barbet. You can actually get confused with the red-fronted tinkerbird as well, which we don't quite get here. But you can see them in the Eastern Cape, and they look very, very similar, as you can see. Beautiful birds though. Phil, you said what a nice looking bird they are. They're very pretty. I like all the barbet species, in fact. You know, we always get the questions, what is your favorite bird? And I think I say a different bird every single time, because I'll think of one and go, yeah, that's my favorite. And then I remember another bird and go, no, that one is my favorite. So I just love them all. The only thing I can tell you that I know for certain that are my favorites are elephants, number 1, hyenas, number 2. And then I just love all the other animals just as much. But those hyenas are just so cute, especially now when they're so young. Very interesting to be able to sit and watch them. I really wouldn't mind being, and I think I said this the other day, I would love to go and be a part of a hyena research project somewhere in, say, like Botswana or even Kenya, just in an area where there's a bulk of them. Like, you know, you see these massive den sites where there's so many different individuals living around there. That would be really great to see, and being able to follow them for 24/7. Now, realistically, I'm sure the novelty will wear off after about a week, but I'd still like to go and do something like that for a week. But Ellie is still searching far and wide for the Nkuhuma Pride. Are they still on Djuma? I'm not sure, but Ellie will be able to give you an update.
We are searching far and wide, and I will be more stubborn than these lions. So seems like they went into this drainage line, and the guys say that they were quite active in terms of what they were doing with the hunting. So I want to double check in here once more, see if maybe they haven't just gone somewhere where we can't really see them, because the grass is very long. So let's just have a new look, because there are lots of shady spots where they could be. And it's Hopefully we will not break Wendy the day that they just fixed her. Oh my god. Alright. Alright, Wendy, you can do this. Whoa. Alright, so can't really see anything around here. I wonder if perhaps they have carried on moving. I can't really see anything. It's just I want to carry on checking around here, because this is definitely the area where they were in the morning. Maybe they just moved a bit more into the thickets just to get away from the sun. Right, so we're just driving very slowly, just checking all the possible spots, because if they are not around here, I think we're gonna have to go around and just go around and do a. And if they carried on walking down towards one of the other roads, I am hoping that they'll be here though. But we do know that the Nkuhumas seem to really enjoy this rangelands. It's probably the cooler area to be at this time of the day because it's nice and shady. The sand is probably a little bit cooler than in other places, although it's not always. Around here.
Oh my goodness, those pesky gremlins. Craig, how do you feel about doing a gremlin dance? Craig says he'll film me. That'll be the day if we can get Craig to join in on a gremlin dance. That would be so funny. Sorry about that, of course, but never fear. Well, at least you've got me to listen to, and hopefully we'll find something interesting. So what I've done now is I've checked that entire new road. No luck, sadly. We're back on Philemon's cut line, and we're going to take, what road are we going to take? We're going to take Savage's Track, I think. We'll do Savage's Track first and go all the way towards Twin Dams, not Twin Dams, Treehouse Dam, and see if we get anything drinking at the water. We might be able to do a bit of birding around there, and then we will check Twin Dams, and then after that we'll start making our way towards Chitwa Cutline and pop onto Chitwa, have a look at the dam quickly, maybe try and get an early hippopotamus session in. Well, that's the plan. It's probably not going to go like that because you know how indecisive I can be. Laurie, you've actually in particular are excited to go to Chitwa. Me too, I quite enjoy going there. It's really nice, especially with all the bird life around there. There's always potential to see something new. Now there were elephants walking around here. They actually look like they're going in that direction, crossing into the bush. So that means that they could be on their way towards the dam. How far behind are we? I wonder. Okay, there's lots of elephant footprints going around here. Oh, I wonder if it is the same herd that we maybe had yesterday, that really large herd, and the tracks are going, oh, okay, I'm going to pick up the pace just slightly, because their tracks are going all the way down Savage's Track, and I don't know if they maybe did this much earlier today. There hasn't been much wind at all, so the tracks still look very, very fresh, so they could quite easily be from 5 minutes ago. They could also be from 2 hours ago. Very sheltered along this road too. So we'll see. Maybe we get distracted and we spend the whole afternoon with elephants. I know that that wouldn't be a problem. Everybody seems to enjoy the elephants quite a bit. And sure, if we could have 2 spectacular elephant sightings in less than 24 hours, well, that would make me very happy. Now, before we even get there, we've got a wildebeest. We'll just say hello to this wildebeest bull. Have you already had a drink at the dam? Here he is. He's also hiding in the shadows, as you can see. Not even concerned about us one little bit. Looks like he's chewing a piece of bubble gum, but he isn't. He doesn't eat the num-nums, which is a plant that we call Bushman's bubblegum, one of my favorite fruits. But what he was doing there is he was just chewing on the cud, which he'll spend most of his day actually doing, regurgitating his food and then chew, and then digesting it for the final time. But he's lovely, and I love wildebeest, but I think I want to try and find these elephants because we're awfully close to the boundary as well. So if we don't get them at this dam, we need to figure out where they've gone before they cross out of our traverse. And their tracks still going along here. Now, Izzy, you also love elephants. I'm glad you do. They're great. Have we missed them? Hi, Impala. I think we've missed our grey friends. I think they could be further along. Maybe they were here a bit earlier. We'll see how wet the ground is when we get to the dam. We've obviously just got plenty of impala surrounding us at the moment. Hello, guys. So fortunate to see such large herds of impala too. No sign of elephants, just elephant dung. They were here. I'm just going to go around because I want to see exactly. Well, that's not elephant dung. Buffaloes were here too. You can see these two things. 1, 2. This is also very, well, maybe not very fresh. That's older than the elephant tracks. That might have been early this morning that they were around here. Let's just check on the other side. I just want to go up on the dam wall and we'll look back across. It's a pity that we haven't seen any leopard tracks. Well, any more. And then I can also figure out where the elephants have gone. Did they go down there? Yes. Their footprints go that way. So what I'm looking for now is if these elephants came for a drink or they came for a mud wallow, the water should still be right on the edges, should be bit on the sat. I can tell you right now, nothing ever goes according to plan. Sometimes for the good as well, which is nice. Because we don't have to go more than 10 kilometers away, not 10, 1 kilometer away from the lodge. Now, Natalie was wondering if there's any particular area on the reserve that I like the most. I like the Mulwati. The whole Mulwati is really beautiful. And then Cheetah Cutline. I like that road going all the way up with the very big marulas on either side of the road. And Quarantine is very pretty. Also, again, with the marulas. I quite like that in the termite mouth. There's many different areas. You know, everything is so different. Around here, it's obviously, this doesn't appeal to me too much, but it appeals to the animals because we always find game species around here that are constantly feeding. Got a bit of a drainage line, got some nice different trees, but it's very dense. Lots of monkey orange, lots of bush willows, lots of medlars and silver cluster leaves. So if you want to try and go off-roading in an area like this, it's absolutely terrible because you know you're going to have a hard time trying to navigate around this terrain. Another area that's almost impossible is just sort of northwest of Gallagher Shortcut. That's also a tough one. I keep burning my eyeballs every single time I turn and look into the sun, so they're going to start watering in a moment. So I might not turn back and look at you just yet. Craig, I think you're going to have to hold an umbrella for me, please. No, I'm joking. No, I'm only teasing. Oh, warthogs. They're just in here. It's not the clearest view, unfortunately. I think they're slightly frightened of us, but you can see them moving around the long grass. Everything is in the shade. Might just be able to hear them rustling through the leaves. Sorry, that was me taking my foot off of the brake. You hear them? So they're actually making quite a bit of noise. Now that's not good for those warthogs, because when you are so far down on the food chain, You don't want to be making too much noise. You want to be feeding as quiet as possible, because if I can hear that rustling in the leaves, you can imagine that a leopard or a lion, a cheetah, a wild dog, anything could pick that up from a lot further away than I could. I actually didn't hear them. I spotted them with my eyes first. Let me go around. Let's see if we can get a better view very quickly. Let's have one little look here. We might have a gap. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. It's a sounder. Yeah, one is very, very busy at the moment. On its knees, digging for grass roots. Let me see if I can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a couple of them. You know what I watched? Actually, it was on Africa Geographic. They shared a video. I'm not sure from where it was from. Was it Pinda, which is on the east coast of South Africa, a private game reserve there. Anyways, they showed this burrow, and out came this warthog, and I thought, oh, okay, it's a normal video. 12 warthogs were living down in this burrow, which I thought was absolutely amazing. I couldn't believe it. Never did I think that so many could actually live underground like that. So it just shows you how intricate their tunneling system actually is. Because, I mean, most of the time we see 1 or 2 or mom and a couple of piglets coming out of a hole, but never mind 12 that were all about this size. So not small at all. Quite amazing. But they're just feeding around here. This looks like mom. I don't know if you can see her. The big sow just here. Quite difficult to see her. There's lots and lots of shrubs. But she looks like the oldest one of the lot. Barbara, you said if there's 5 of them, it might be the same family that you saw on the dam cam earlier today. Possibly. However, we're actually quite far away from Vuyatela Dam. We are almost... where are we now? I'm trying to think of a road. We're sort of in between Pangle and Track. We're on Weaver's Nest now, and this one drainage system. So we're actually not far from Gowrie Main. We're probably about 200 meters from Gowrie Main. So I don't know if it would be the same warthogs. Warthogs can travel a fair distance, particularly in the winter months when there's not much food around. But as you can see, there's still a fair amount of it. So I don't think that they would have necessarily traveled that long distance on a hot day like today. Especially that I'm sure their burrow would be quite close if you saw them feeding near the dam. There's lots of big termite mounds around there, so I don't know. But I counted 7. But they're hiding away. It's pretty good. But let's carry on, Craig. Let's see what else we can find. I think these warthogs, they're not cooperating, but we might see some more. Who knows? We'll probably go and check Twin Dams now, and then we'll go back up through the Mulwati. I can't see any more elephant tracks, which is sort of a good sign. Hopefully they've gone that way and not that way. Anyways, Ellie was just chatting on the radio now. I think she's trying to get some more intel on what's gone on with the lions. Let's go across to her and see if she's got any footprints to show you.
Well, we've got no news for now, other than it seems like the lions carried on moving during the day and that they've gone further south. So we're gonna do pretty much a roundabout of the road, see if maybe they come out on the next road, rather than us trying to bundu bash or me going and walking into a very thick area with all those lions. So because there is a very good chance that they carried on walking. Apparently there were also some alarm calls reported that were heard from the lodge, so perhaps the lions have carried on walking south. So we just gotta carry on, and then we'll start heading back down and see where it is. We were checking on the right area, but there was no way that we could have crossed that drainage line because it's pretty much like very perpendicular, well, very deep angle. So we might have gone down, but I don't think we would have been able to come back up again. Probably we would have just stayed wedged in there. So I knew that was the one. So when we heard that you guys were going to send through the most common catchphrase for the presenters, the first one that we said, and I was like, drainage line. It has got to be the one. And we are sorry we have to use it as often. Trust us, we don't like drainage lines more than you guys do. But there are quite a few around Djuma, and unfortunately they make such good hideout places for the cats in particular, that's why they like going in there. So even for us, when we say it's like, oh, it's going through the drainage, it's just, why are you alarming? Francolins. Sneaky francolins. Okay, seems like everything's fine now. Right, the road does go in that direction, so who knows, maybe if the lions are there, we'll be able to spot them from there, perhaps a leopard, who knows. But yes, drainage line, trust us, we hate them as much as you. They do provide a very good area, so I think maybe in terms of a cub, that's when we would allow them to go into the drainage line, because it's one of the safest places for them to be. Now, hopefully the gremlins won't attack us on this side. We'll just have a look and just keep our eyes open for tracks. Perhaps they did carry on walking this way. I do hope that they're going to be like sleeping in the middle of a road somewhere, because we have been searching for them for days now. Alright. No tracks here. Alright, seems like there are no tracks here. Alright, this is roughly where the francolins were alarming now, so I just want to go slowly, see if maybe there's something else that's lurking here in between the thickets. It seems like perhaps Alicia, you're wondering if I've ever had a scary moment while out on a drive. Yeah, I've had a few. I had we're coming onto the top now. Alright, so I'm just trying to think of any scary moments that I might have had out in the bush. I think one of the scariest one was once with a very big grumpy bull elephant that was not too happy with life in general, and unfortunately we got cut off by another more junior ranger, and we had pretty much no escape route, so the Ellie wasn't too happy. Luckily, I'm still here and everyone was still there, so I think maybe that was one of the scariest moments, because he was very, very close, and when driving I always fear for the safety of the tracker, which is the person that is mostly exposed there. So if anything had happened, I reckon I would have been quite upset. So Ellies have scared me once or twice before. And then I think one of the scariest moments that I had was looking for a female leopard and her cub, and I could hear her, and it was in a very thick area, and I could hear her growling at me and moving the bushes, but I could not for the life of me figure out where she was. So I was just like, where do I go? Where do I go? But again, everything was fine. We are in a bit of a gremlin zone, so before they attack us, let's go over to Taylor, who I'm sure will love to have you all back on.
Oh, those pesky gremlins, pesky gremlins. I'm trying to track pesky elephants at the moment. They've been walking all over here. Honestly, it does not look like one person. And that's how you find an elephant. Too busy looking down to the right in the Mulwati, because that's some of their favorite spots. Now from this angle, it is proving to be quite difficult to be able to tell if it's a boy or a girl. I think that it is a male, just from the size of the tusks and what I can see, and also because it seems to be on its own. Now there could be other elephants in the area, so it might be this beautiful big bull. But he, again, just like that wildebeest didn't acknowledge us, neither has this elephant bull. He knows we're here, he can hear us. He most certainly can hear us. He can smell me. But he's too busy feeding on, it looks like he was feeding on a buffalo thorn, quite a big buffalo thorn, just behind the tambuti tree. But he's got a mixture of salads going on at the moment. He also sticks his trunk quite low down and is feasting on something else. Are you going to come out now? Oh, joy, he's in musth. That's wonderful. So now this particular elephant, we are not really going to be getting too close to. And we're going to make sure that we give him a lot of room, because he doesn't look very old. He's very tall, exceptionally tall, tall enough to be a runway model. So maybe he's just coming into musth. Maybe it's the first or second time. It looks like he's still got a bit of filling out to do. And sometimes we see this with elephants. It's actually not very uncommon. I've seen it a few times, where they get these massive growth spurts, and then they grow. It almost looks like they're just growing at their shoulders, and the back end still has to try and catch up. So that's why I'm saying that he doesn't look particularly old, but he could still be in his 30s. And it's just that we see so many enormous elephants out here, and older boys too, that you notice. You definitely notice when you see these younger fellas. Now, come on. You just got to take 2 more steps backwards, and then we'll be able to see how beautiful he actually is, because he does have a nice set of ivory on him. Now, the reason why I know that he is in musth is that if you look between his back legs, you can see that it is quite wet. You can almost see the sun glistening, and that is just from all of the excess urine that is being dribbled down his legs now. I can't smell him. Surprisingly, we must be sitting upwind of this elephant, but he's also not showing any agitation signs with us, which is really good. That's quite nice. Now, he has had a mud bath, but it seems as though he had a mud bath slightly early, because it started to dry already. Maybe he's just coming into musth, because I can't see too much dribbling just yet. I'm just having a look while you look at his beautiful ears and his tusks. So he could just be in the initial stages, which is why he might not be bothered by us. AKA, you say that he's got a good tusk size too. He could be dangerous. Dun dun dun. No, I'm not too worried about him. So normally an elephant bull that's in the peak of his musth season, then they can be a little bit challenging. They normally express that they don't like you from the get-go, and that's why I think maybe he's just starting to come into musth now, or just coming out of musth. That's also another possibility. But he's not bothered by us. He hasn't, like I said, he hasn't acknowledged us. He hasn't even turned to look at us. He hasn't brought his trunk out and secretively tried to smell us either. He's very relaxed. But we need to watch him. You need to be careful. Now he's stood out completely. Let's see what he does. No. Still worried about eating. Yeah, he's not an old boy. He's going to be a beautiful fella. Hello. Yes, I'm admiring you. Please let us admire you some more. Don't chase us away. No, he says, okay, you can watch. But you better watch from that distance and not come any closer. So this is sort of a good sign, I suppose. It might mean that there are some more elephants around here. We did see more tracks, so maybe he's trying to catch up to that breeding herd. Oh, Fiona, you said that maybe he's also a bit shy, perhaps? We get shy elephants. He's having a scratch now. You can see that how he's bringing his back leg up. And I was telling you yesterday how they often get bitten around their ankles. They're always scratching their ankles, just with all the lots of blood vessels. So that will, of course, draw parasites. But we're stuck now. We can't really go anywhere until he decides to move. And hopefully he will move up and off the road. I think maybe the elephant herd could have gone towards Mamba. They do like to head down that way quite often. They may have stopped even and sort of dug in the mulwati for a good bit of water. Maybe they didn't drink at Treehouse Dam. Maybe they just had a mud bath, splashed themselves around. I saw that, where obviously Twin Dams is, and there's that little pan between Gowrie Main and the dam wall, and that's sort of just mud at the moment, and it looked like it had been churned up quite a bit. I'm sure a variety of different animals have utilized it, but I think the elephants definitely popped through at one point. Let me go forward just slightly. Let's see what his reaction is to us. I might not even have to start. Maybe we can roll there. I just want to go a little bit around so we can see more of him. No, I'm going to have to turn the car on. Not bothered at all. I'm not going to drive up his rear end. We'll stop here. So he's still got a bit of a distance between us. Now, Geeky, a question from you, which is not the simplest one to answer. There's a lot of ifs and buts. But the question is, at what age do bulls typically come into musth for the first time? So this depends on a number of different things. It's got to do with what's going on in the environment, with the climate. Is there a drought? Are you in the rainy season? What's the food availability like? And then another thing is, how many other bigger, stronger, older bulls are there already in this area, or is it just youngsters? So that could play a part. So they can come into musth as young as 25 years old. Can you believe that? But that's not very common. Maybe on a small private game reserve, say, where they don't have lots of big bulls free roaming and moving through constantly, then you might have that. But typically in this area, I would say anywhere between about 30 and 35, we tend to see. You see, there's a lot of competition out here. And look at him. He's beautiful. He's a really lovely elephant. We'll try and catch up with him. So it just depends, Geeky. And again, it's area specific. And then, oh, I've completely forgotten what else I wanted to tell you. Maybe it will come back to me. Oh, there's some more elephant tracks going down there. He's moving up this way. Can I have the name again, please, Alice? Oh, Fern. Oh, there we go. Thank you very much. So, Fern, you were wondering, does the secretion from an elephant being in musth cause any skin problems? Not that I've noticed, actually. I've actually never even thought of that, to be honest. Now, I'm just trying to think of what types of skin irritations you might see. But I've never seen any lesions, any sort of uneven skin or anything like that forming between their back legs. And typically those back legs get doused in all of that urine. And it's not just urine though. It's more of an oily substance, if you will. Because if you've ever I've touched it on the ground, and it's very sticky. So no, I don't think so. I've never noticed it, but I'll keep an eye out on that, Fern. Might be an interesting observation. Okay, he's just turned off the road. I think he's just turned off the road. So we might try and use this opportunity to get around him. I think those elephants, yes. Okay, we're going to use this opportunity. We'll get in front of him. We'll have another view. Even the crested Franklin waited for him to pass before he went across the road. No, don't pop out on the road again. No, I don't think we're going to make it. Hello, Jonathan, who is a new viewer and who is only 11 years old and all the way from Alabama. Well, Jonathan, very nice to meet you. In case you missed my name, I'm Taylor. And this is a big elephant bull. But your question was, how do you tell which one is the alpha? Now, Jonathan, it's really interesting that you've said that, because the one we're looking at the moment is a bull. It's a boy elephant. So he doesn't live in the herds anymore. He would have been chased out at quite a young age, and then he goes off and he lives all by himself. Can you believe that? Well, sometimes you might find some other young elephant bulls that are in a similar position as he was in, and then they'll join up. But it's the girls that live together. So it becomes quite tricky. So we call it a matriarchal system. So basically it's females that are closely related. They all live with each other in the same herd. And you can typically spot the matriarch. That's what we call the alpha, the leader. We can normally spot her. She's normally the biggest elephant and the oldest elephant. And she's the one doing all the talking too. She'll tell the herd which way she wants to go. And so they make quite a bit of noise. But it is difficult. It takes a lot of practice too. It's not something that you can just spot straight away. It does take a few years of watching these animals and learning their behavior. You can honestly only learn so much from books, when the rest you have to do in person and just by observing and watching these animals and building experience and hours with them. That's the best way to learn out in the bush. And then of course we use the books for guidance. But if you start reading some animal books, Jonathan, and you keep watching Safari Live, you'll start to notice, you'll go, they say that elephants are not supposed to do this, but they're doing it. Or zebras aren't allowed to do that. That's not what this book says. And it's the funniest thing, because the animals don't read the books that we write about them, and they're constantly changing their minds and doing whatever they want to do, whenever they want to do. But he's beautiful, isn't he? He's a lovely boy. Now, he keeps bobbing and weaving back onto the road, which is making it very, very difficult for me to get to the destination that I want to head in towards. But I suppose we'll be patient. Should we make another move, Craig? Not worried about us, which is quite nice for elephant bullet musth, but you don't want to push it either, because they get temperamental, and in a split second they could change from being calm and relaxed to going, actually, I don't like you sitting here anymore, and that's never fun. And that's, of course, we don't want to get into things like that. Chitty chatty mate, you're wondering if I'm going to kiss this elephant's bottom too? You missed me kissing the elephant's bottom yesterday. I don't know. I don't know if I can do that in twice on 2 safaris. I'm trying to think what I could do. I don't know. I don't think I'll reach from this angle, so I will give this one a skip, I think. Next time. I feel like I've kissed too many elephants. Now, I'm not literally kissing the elephants, in case you think that I am bonkers and I got out the car and walked up and kissed an elephant on the buttocks. I didn't do that. It was just the camera was at the perfect angle, so I thought I would stretch up and do something like that, being a little bit creative or silly. You can choose which one you think how I was behaving. Look at him, he's not in a hurry to go anywhere. He's having a great Sunday afternoon. He's walking how my dad drives, very slowly. Well, it seems as though Ellie's persistence has finally paid off. So without further ado, let's go across to Ellie and see what she's got.
Whoa! We just managed to find these lions and we are so incredibly excited. Yay! After all looking for them, we found some tracks and then headed off, and then they were. So super excited that they are actually here, and they've been walking quite a lot from where they were last seen this morning. They are very close to the camp, so they have pretty much walked half of the property in a day, pretty much, or in the last few hours. Yeah, you must be tired. You guys have been going on and on and on. Now we only have a clear view of one of these girls, and I think there's another one at the back. Now there was another guy that was helping us, so I'm gonna call him in, just spread the good news. Abel, come in. We've located the Nkuhuma and Shlambi. They are on Central, close to Giraffe Dip, south of the road. Okay, copy. He was very happy to hear that we found them, because they have walked quite a long distance from where they were this morning, and we thought that they were going to stick around there, but it seems like they've come all the way down. Hey, firm. Now, like I was saying, I can only see 2 heads. Can you see another head, Seb, perhaps?
Yeah, there's one.
I can only see 2 heads. Luckily, Seb is in a higher vantage point from me, so he can see a little bit more. So exciting! Yeah, I think they do look sleepy. They have been walking, it's amazing how much they've been walking yesterday. Around about 6 o'clock, they started moving. They crossed onto Djuma. Then likely they walked all of the property, and then they went all the way to Buffelshoek, rested there for a little while, so they crossed pretty much south to north or east to west all of the property, and then they went up and carried on going up, and then sometime during the day they came down, and then in the heat of the day, just when it's been the hottest, then they carried on walking all the way south, pretty much midway where they started from yesterday evening. So my goodness, they have been walking a lot. Chitty Chatty Meg, you're asking roughly how much do we think that they've walked in what night? Well, I'm gonna go with about maybe 15 Ks. Hey Sam, what do you think?
At least, yeah.
Yeah, I think, well, obviously not in a straight line, but they've been turning and going and then backtracking themselves. So I'm gonna think that in the last 24 hours, they've probably walked somewhere along 20 Ks, just judging by all the movements that we've seen them do. So yeah, no wonder you guys are sleepy. Whew. I think my heart is still beating very fast. Lorena, you say that they're looking beautiful as usual. I completely agree. They are looking stunning as usual. The Nkuhumas are always such a pretty pride of lions, and they always seem to be in such healthy conditions, and I wonder if perhaps they're not now back on the trail of the buffalo. Treehouse Dam is still at a certain distance from where we are, but I wonder if maybe they're not just carrying on. Let me just... Right, sorry guys, I just need to guide somebody in. Yeah, if you come on Central, then you will see me on the road. Sorry. Alright. Pause. You're wondering how old the lioness has got to be before she gives birth, or before she has her first litter. So... normally, in most cases, an average would be around about 3-4 years old once they become adults and self-sufficient. So they can go into heat, I would say, in most cases when they're about 4 years old, depending on the area and the conditions that they've been brought up in. Sometimes it might take a little bit longer, but I would say run about there. Oh, looking very sleepy, are you not? Like I said, I think my heart is still pounding. We were just sort of getting ready to lose hope because it's a very thick block, very thick area. But yes! Aquarius, you say you have gremlins in your stomach, and this is such an amazing sign. I like that expression, gremlins in her stomach. I think that's probably a keeper. And yes, I'm also feeling the gremlins in my stomach and not all around me, which is even better. But oh, very happy that these girls have made their return. Sorry, go again. Okay, just carry on coming east, and then you'll just see us east from Giraffe Dip. If you look towards the western side of the road, then you'll see us. You won't miss us. Come east from Giraffe Deep, and then you will see us. Okay, copy. Well, how's this? Just a bit for the record. Seems like one of the guys that was helping us look for them earlier on, and we heard the car. He went past, didn't see us, because we are just as well camouflaged as the lions, and then now he's had to turn around and come back. So how's that? Even us, we can blend perfectly well with our beautiful Wendy, all in green in the bush. Now, like I said, very exciting times. I can only see... You said you saw a third one.
No. Just
two.
Yeah.
I wonder. I can't see the cubs around here, so maybe we're just going to let them settle a little bit, and then we'll try going around, see if perhaps there are more lions sleeping on the other side. Could very well be that we only had tracks for 2, though, on the road. So I wonder if maybe these 2 females have gone off, and then they've left another female far up in the block with the rest of the cubs while they got hunting. Could be. But I think we'll only know more in a little bit when we move around. So I think, actually, let's give it a try. Let's see if maybe we can head into the corner where the other one is and put an end to this mystery of how many lions we're looking at. And if the view from there is not the greatest, then we'll come back to this one. Are we ready?
Yeah, you want to go?
Okay, copy. I think we saw you drive past earlier. You won't miss us. Ah, there she's going towards the next lion, so it's a good thing that we are moving around. Ooh. Very big branch here. Exciting times ahead. Alright, there's another branch here. Ooh. Alrighty. Alright. Where did these guys go? Abel, come in. Abel, sorry, not sure if I made a completely mistake. That just come towards Yellow Road Junction. I see 3. Abel, sorry, I made a mistake. Not sure up tip. I thought I had said Yellow Road South Junction Central. So if you carry on coming east from there, then you will see us. No, just carry on coming along Central. Just carry on driving east along Central from that junction. Whoopsie, I made a mistake and told him the wrong name. I was so excited and convinced.
Can you reverse?
I can reverse. Hey firm, just carry on coming east on Central. Just carry on driving towards Chitwa cut line from where you are. Okay, copy. Alright, you said a little bit back. Sorry guys, it's a lot of chit-chat on the radio, and unfortunately I made a mistake by accident, but the guy is coming around here. Okay, now only 3 of them around here. Reports were that there was 1 female with 1 male, so that's a 4th one. Perhaps the 5th one is somewhere with the cubs in the block. Whew, very sleepy. They're not looking particularly skinny. But not looking particularly skinny, but perhaps they've been busy hunting and that's what they've been moving around. Richard, you're wondering how many lions in this particular pride. Well, it's 5 females and 6 cubs. So we're missing 2 females and 1 cub. We do know that one of the females was with 2 males, and then that lives 1 female and the cubs somewhere around here. I don't think they are here. Perhaps they, like we said, they just left the cubs somewhere in that drainage line because it's very thick around there, so it's perfect for them to stay in while these 3 went off hunting. Oh. Hello, girl. Exciting times ahead. Very sleepy, the 3 of them, but it's incredible. We always say that lions like to sleep at night and they move around when it's not that hot. They left them run about 12 o'clock or maybe run about 11ish this afternoon, and like we said earlier, it's been 28 and 83 degrees and very, very hot today, and that's the time that they have chosen to start moving around, which proves that animals can always surprise us. Whew. Yeah, that's the print on the sand. That's definitely what led us in this direction. Very happy. It was a very, very pretty print on the road. And for a moment there we doubted it ourselves because there were some tracks called in on this road this morning, so that's where things got a bit more interesting, because they've done a loop on themselves on their own tracks. They've come back pretty much on the tracks that they have been walking this morning. Whew. Exciting times. So guys, I'm just trying to explain to one of the guys how to get here. Okay, if you just go around, if you go around this, then you'll booga the stream of Fuzzy this side. If you just go around. Or if not, I think it's maybe a bit more open on this side. Okay. Sorry about that, I thought I got so excited I'd said giraffe dip. Alright. Whew. Very good news. Now we can obviously try and stick around with them, see perhaps what they get up to this evening. Hopefully they will start roaring a bit later on, although they were quite vocal in the morning and during the night, so I am hoping that they might do that this morning as well. And both female and male lions can roar, and it's possibly the most beautiful sound that there is out here in the bush. It is something very unique. I can't believe you three actually walking around in the middle of the day when it's been so hot. I think is one of those funny things. Again, everything that's ever been written on a textbook, there's always one pride of lions that might prove you wrong and just do whatever it is that they feel like. And it just shows when the conditions are good that they'll move off. Let's go to Taylor. It seems like we're going to have an amazing drive.
I can't be stationary. Hi, sorry Alice, I just want to let you know I don't think I'm going to be able to be stationary in the sighting because this leopard is on the move, but I'll try my best. It does look like one of the young males, but I can't see just yet because I have not seen this leopard's face just yet. But we'll try and get a view now. We're right here in the Mulwati. I was just saying to Craig, we've got fresh leopard tracks. They're going in the Mulwati. I don't know where they're going. And I actually sang an entire song to the tune of, what's that song? I'm gonna miss you when I'm gone. And then when the leopard appeared, maybe I need to sing more often and the animals will appear. Anyways, let's catch up to this cat. It's gonna zoom around because I can't go up that route, unfortunately. Now, where are you going to pop out? So, we'll get an ID on this cat. Now, I just need to figure out... Yay, leopard! Maybe Hosana? Sorry, Craigie, hold on. It could also be Tumba. Could be any of them. Any of those two, but we'll try and get a good look now. Where are you going to pop out, young kitty cat? There, I see a tail. No, but we need to see your face, young man, to be able to identify you. For some reason, I want to say Tumba, just because it doesn't look particularly big. What? It's very interested in something. Let's have a look. Is it Tumba? No, it's Hosana. Hello. I haven't seen you for such a long time. You know what? He definitely had his growth spurt much earlier. And that's why he got so big so quickly, because since the last time I saw him, he doesn't actually look like he's grown much at all. Where's he gone now? Oh, he's walking behind us. How cool is this, though? Oh, we're going to just figure out where he's going to go. If he's going to go onto that termite mound, that would be beautiful, because the light is just starting to turn. How's that, Craig? Is that alright? I think it is, but you can help me. You can hashtag Safari Life if you also think that this is Hosana. He doesn't have the beautiful blue eyes, blue-green eyes that our young man Tumba has, and the facial markings didn't seem to be particularly dark. I'm also going to have to call this in on the radio because he looks like he might cross. Oh no, Craigie. Right, we need to go this way. We have to go back on this fire break. Stations I've just located one Madora Ingwe, young Madora, I think it's Hosana. He's just mobile, just off the fire break, just slightly west of the Mulwati. He's going towards Baboon Pan, one unlock. Oh, hang on, I've got to try and turn here. Sorry, I've got myself into a... I'm going to do quick maneuvers here. Okay, we'll catch up to him now. Right, I need to do a little bit of maneuvering. I'm going to send you across to Ellie very quickly while I reposition.
My goodness, exciting times. Right, we've had one of the girls has just gotten up and moved up. She is still asleep somewhere out in the bush, but it's not a great view, so we're going to stick with these two that are gracefully here. Now, they don't seem to be that settled for the afternoon, and I wonder if they're going to start moving around once more. It would be quite interesting if they did. Perhaps go back to the rest of the pride. Huh. Lots of head-ups and a lot of grooming going on. Seems like perhaps there is an old one on the eye. Looks like there are some old blood stains just underneath her right eye. I wonder if maybe they just haven't been eating something. See, they're dead. So this is the one that had that injury. Look, she's walking just fine, and the injury seems to be almost fully healed, which is great news. Very happy that you are doing so well, and that it was just a minor thing. Definitely going onto the back there. Ian, you're wondering if there are very old lions in this track, in this pride. Depends what we defined as old, but there are older lionesses, although which one of them is the oldest one, I'm not 100% sure, so we can ask the help of everyone. If anyone does know which one is the oldest lioness and roughly how old she is, you can let us know by using the hashtag Safari Live. I'm not 100% sure. Where are you guys going? Alright, just want to see if there's a lug here. I don't think even this short car will be able to get in between there. Seems like they've just chosen a new spot where to lie down. I want to see if they move or if they just stick around there, because it seems like they've just pretty much swapped places and they've got onto the sun. Maybe it was a bit too cold here where they were lying in the shade, because it seems like the three of them have swapped that spot for a new sunny spot. Alright, I think we're going to have to try and maneuver around this bush, see if no, they, oh my goodness, are we moving, guys? Alright, seems like they are moving, and they are going roughly into the drainage line. I wish we could just call it the gremlin area or something different. Alright, I don't know where I'm gonna move around. I think maybe we'll be able to wangle our way around here before they start moving around. Seems like the car that is behind us is going to move as well, so we're going to wait for them to move so that we can then try and find a way to get in there. Because unfortunately there are a few logs sticking out here, and very, very thick logs, so, and that are still on the ground, so we won't be able to drive over them. Likely we'll end up getting stuck on top of them. But they haven't moved far, they are still here, and I see two of them still on the, not too far from where they were. So I don't think anything to panic yet. We will hold on to them, because yes, very exciting to finally see some lions. Whew. We even went looking for them yesterday evening. Jackie, you're wondering when do I think that they ate last? I believe they've been on Arethusa, or that they were on Arethusa yesterday evening, and I think the day before that, and I think there were reports of them getting something then. I'm not 100% sure, but I think probably ate a few days ago, 3-4 days ago, judging just by how empty their stomachs seem to look. Alright, so let me just try and reverse here. I'm gonna wait for these guys to stop moving so that we can then try and go around. Alright. Okay. I think bundu bashing time it is. Easiest way to go for them is to go straight. I feel quite confident with the route we have chosen. However, there is a vehicle straight ahead of us, so I'm not going to go straight in and drive into another car. We don't want to do that. Alright. Alright. Where did she go now? Lions. Alright, seems like they've all gotten up and started moving now. Well, you're wondering if it's easier or harder for lions to hunt in the winter foliage. Well, it can be sometimes easier for them because they become, oh, I don't know how I'm going to get around here, become the color of the environment, so they might be able to blend in a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to try and get us through this. Just watch out with this one because it's thorny. Sorry, this is not easy in any form or manner. Okay, yeah, just give me 1 second. I'm gonna... Sabi's doing a great demonstration of strength, manly strength. I can try to angle a little bit more because we have a stick. Woo! Alright, let's go to Taylor chasing after the leopard while we try to get ourselves out of here.
I'm back. We've lost Hosana. I'm just trying and direct the guides. They're trying to look for him. I'm sorry, I'm just quickly trying to help them find this leopard again, and I'll give you an update. Yeah, he was sort of between where you are now and Baboon Pan. Like I said, he was moving, he was jiggering south and he was jiggering west again. But I'm sure you'll pick him up there. Thank you very much. I'm pulling out. Okay, there we go. So just quickly gave some of the guides in the east some help because we lost visual of him. He crossed right out very quickly. We were at the edge of the Mulwati, so it was quite difficult, but at least we got to see him, and at least we got to see that Hosana is still doing well and he's looking good. But as I was saying, he might pop back again a little bit later, so I'll keep an ear out on the eastern channel. We are going to head towards the dam now, towards Chitwa Dam. So if anything happens, at least we'll be able to hear what's going on. So I was saying earlier that right in the beginning, I always said that Hosana looks like he had an early growth spurt because he was very big when he was just a couple of months old compared to other male leopards that I've seen of a similar age. So it seems as though his growth rate is slightly slowed down because he really doesn't look as enormous as what I would have expected back then. Also, I think that my mind was playing tricks on me, thinking that he'd be enormous at such a young age. I think it was a bit silly of me. But anyways, he's looking good. It was so great to see him because it's been a very, very long time since I last saw that fella. However, we've managed to keep another day filled with cats. How great is that? Both spotted, even though it was a brief sighting. Maybe we find another one. I'm going to send you back across to Ellie now and the lions.
Sorry about earlier, it seemed like it was a bit of a tricky spot, but here they are, looking quite attentive, one of them. So I wonder if perhaps in certain... No? Okay. Somebody just fell on somebody else. So they seemed, like I said, they seem to be roughly looking in the direction where this beautiful lioness is moving towards. So we can't really see anything from here, but there's a good chance that perhaps there's something down there in the bushes that they might like. And the guys earlier mentioned that they were after Nyala, so maybe there's a buffalo or a zebra or perhaps impala or more Nyala around here, because they seem to be quite determined to carry on moving. And I am so impressed just by how much these lions have been moving in the last 24 hours. They've pretty much done an entire loop around of Djuma and the surrounding areas. But again, I think one of the females was potentially left as or two of them. One as a babysitter of the cub, because as we mentioned earlier, it seemed like there was one of the females that was with the two males. So we have yet another lion mystery. Mr. Ussie Bergen, you're wondering where the male lions are. Well, we're not too sure. There's one that's north of our boundary, and there was another one with the female, but It seems like they have gone into a very thick area just north of our boundary, so we don't really have access to them and we can't go have a look. The other two are missing in action, but they are definitely not on the property. Now, male lions and females don't always have to be together. Often it'll happen that the males will leave the females on their own. They won't spend all their time with the pride as they go out patrolling their territory and hunting and just making sure that there's nothing else that's coming onto their area. Now, I think part of the reason why perhaps two of the males were together with this pride yesterday evening was because they bumped into them as they carried on moving, but also because, as we say, there might be the potential of one of them coming into heat, and that is obviously a bit more interesting for the males that want to try and maximize all of their mating opportunities. This is almost like a headless lion. Basil, you're saying that they look a bit edgy. Well, I wouldn't say edgy. They're not upset with anything around here. They're certainly not upset with us, but I think they are on the hunt. I think they are alert. I think they are going to try and find themselves an opportunity where they can bring something down. They are looking skinny. They're not looking too skinny, so nothing to worry about, but they are definitely looking for their next meal. Now, as we were discussing, lions are opportunistic creatures, and I wouldn't be surprised that they have actually been hunting the whole day, or at least trying to, following different prides of animals. Well, not prides of animals, sorry, herds of animals. Now, like we said, we are in the middle of a block, and it's quite thick around us, so we can't see what it is that they are somewhat interested in, but I wouldn't be surprised if there were some kudu, impala, nyala, somewhere further into the bush. Sorry, Alice, can you just repeat that last question for me? Love 3 dogs. You're saying that you love lion profiles. They are very powerful, aren't they? And I think maybe because I don't have a pretty nose or a pretty profile, whenever I see lions, I think they're even prettier. Very beautiful straight noses. But maybe they are still looking slightly sleepy. I think they're tired, but they're also hungry. So it's a battle of the two instincts. Should they carry on hunting? I'm sure as it becomes cooler, likely that instinct is going to override anything and everything, and that's when they're going to start moving. But it's going to be, and I'm sure yesterday evening, even if they were trying to hunt some buffalo, it's hard for them because with the full moon, a lot of the prey species can see a little bit better. So they've got to be a bit more clever in the way that they approach animals. They've got to be more secretive and be very careful. Likely you guys were trying yesterday, but I think maybe those buffaloes spotted you. And just in case you were wondering, lions can be just as successful hunting during the day. I have seen them hunt on many occasions in the middle of the day, funny enough. And just as long as they do things right and that they keep the wind in their favor and that the sun in their favor, normally they have a good success rate. Now, they seem to be quite relaxed, and look at this, we're even playing around with one of the branches that got stuck in my hand. Just while we were off-roading here. It is a bit of an open area, or an open spot that they have chosen to relax in, but I don't think they are fully relaxed. I am hoping that they're gonna get up and start moving again. Beautiful.